Round 11's results and our buy hold sell for round 12, and 497 for myself there, and moving back 92 spots wasn't the best outing. Unfortunately, getting my captain wrong again 2 weeks in a row. I've just fallen a decent amount short from Mr. Bryce Cotton, who has had a historic 3-game stretch, and with Parker Jackson Cartwright only getting 18 points, SuperCoach not even real points, with Bryce Cotton having his minimum of 40 real basketball points. Is just wild how that's played out. So a couple of misses there, and Doolittle on the 0, not having like a Casey Prather was the down portion of this week just gone. We're at a 554 season rank now, and yeah, we're still in a fine spot. It's been a solid season without being spectacular, with some luck early and then really just not having it as much in recent history. And I did start Humphreys over Harrison, so another 9 points there, or less than 9 points, with the 50% there. So nothing crazy overall. In terms of what I missed out on, it was trading in Jack White was awesome, and he's going to be one of the guys you want in your side this week. I do think at center, Harrison is going to be the guy you want this week, coming off a much better one, 76 across his 2 games. Cotton now can be sold, and it's really a week of, well, the next 2 weeks anyway, of how do you get Kendrick Davis and how do you get Montrezl Harrell. They're the 2 guys that you're going to want. They're very, very expensive, with Harrell just a tick under Cotton now at 435, and then Kendrick all the way up in the 480, just over 480 range. So with them on a single this week, Kendrick has the lower break even. Montrez has the return game where he said he's going to absolutely dominate. So you're probably going to want both of them. Kendrick's first on the priority list, and then it is Montrez. The main worry this week, and we'll get straight into it because there's not too much that we can focus on, to be honest with you, just around the cheapies. I think the only cheapie that you can go for this week to be able to free up a little bit of cash is that of Owen Foxwell. So last week he was the play in there at 145k that he was, and now he's up to 182 coming off that 22. Off the bench there, did a solid job, obviously, and he's moving into more of that rotation. Minutes-wise, it wasn't as crazy as the week prior, when we did have Walton Jr. only played the 7 minutes, but then Owen played the 19 following that. It's obviously, I think we need him somewhere around that 20 mark, and you can get that 15 to 25 SC score that you're wanting from him. But really, at 182, he's kind of the cheapest guy that I think you can pop into your side without it stuffing you around with that guy not getting enough points there, to be honest with you. So if that's the only kind of play, then maybe it is this week, or you're just clearly waiting until next week and hoping for a cheapie to get you that second trade. Like, let's just say you get Kendrick this week somehow. You've got enough cash to go Cotton straight to Kendrick, and your second trade is more of a straight swap as well with Mr. Doolittle. But that you can get that done, and then coming into next week, you probably are going to need to create a little bit of a few funds there to be able to get to Montrez. Unless again you have sort of 100, 150k right now, you get Kendrick from Cotton, and then you have Jack White. He gets up to sort of a 375 or something, and Montrez comes down a little bit with his 58 break even, and then you can go White to Montrez in that one swipe there. That's probably the big one there. Looking towards next week, the other guy that's a slight bit cheaper than the rest of the guns that could probably give you some good scoring is that of Darius Days when they come back into some doubles from next week. So he's someone that you can definitely target as well. In terms of sells coming in, if you're looking at my side, sells coming into the next few weeks, then I think White after this double, you're probably going to have to use him to get to Montrez. Doolittle needs to be sold. Unfortunately, just the 0 score, the playing 50 seconds, it was pretty tough out there for sure. Henschel can be held, and at this point, to be honest with you, or could be easily moved on as well with them having 3 singles in a row now, 3 or 4. Humphreys with Montrez coming back, like he's had a good little 3-game stretch, but does that go back to sort of high teens, or does he get back into mid-20s? And if it is mid-20s, you can hold, but if it is closer to the 18, 19, 20 mark, then he's someone you can still over the next few weeks. Cook can be held, Harrison can be held, Prather is probably more of a buy with Bannon being out as well, but unsure how long Bannon will be out for the next little period as well. But there's a few things you can do as well. If you manage to get a few guys that maybe in the Prather being the highest, or if you need to select a Tyrell Harrison, if you need someone a little bit cheaper in a Dellavedova or a Shea Illy, these types of guys in that sort of 260 to 280 range. Just to be out, or Bateman, who's coming off a good score, but a couple of low ones before that. If you need some of these guys that are a little bit cheaper, maybe you're selling Cotton this week to get one of those doubles, and then you're banking sort of 150, 200K to get to some of the guns next week from, a White and someone else in that sort of 300 plus range that you can get to those guys. And that may be an option as well if you wanted to field a couple of doubles rather than grabbing, or if you can't get to those two guys. Because, I'm looking at a situation with myself where Cotton's likely going to be the guy that needs to go to fund one of these plays. But if I was to sell Cotton personally to get Kendrick, I'm 20 something thousand short. And then if you're looking at trading out Doolittle, just clicking on players that I can afford in that forward spot. And I do I'm hoping to have a player that's on a double this week. And when you do filter as well for the teams that do have a double, it's obviously Brisbane this week, Melbourne, New Zealand, Southeast Melbourne this week as well. So those 4 teams that are on that double, there's not a lot. To be honest, you're looking around 11 points. Let's just go straight to average. Bannon is injured, so if he was available, then that would probably, when it's players available, I need to go down to 240 odd to make that work. So can't get a Rob Lowe, could get a Kareem Lopez, you can get a Menenga, you can get Wieskamp, who's struggling a little bit obviously there. And you're looking down further than that, and it's just not too much excitement, that's for sure, with Grant and Tisovic, who is actually scoring okay, 36 across his 2. Max Darling picked up 32 across the 2 as well. So maybe one of those guys is the cheap play that you can get to. But then you're looking at that and you go, well, do I want to start one of those in my starting forward slot? So for me, with Davis being 480, I personally may have to wait until next week, and I may have to get Montrez this week instead, given he's obviously up at 430 odd, and Cotton might have to go down to an Owen Foxwell this week. I start Montrez on the single, hopefully he goes big and 40, 50, 60 type range, and just sort of justifies being able to start him for someone instead that could get 220s if he could get a 40. And I would just start Cook and Jackson Cartwright and have Glover and Owen Foxwell on my bench, leaving me about 110k in the bank to then move White on next week, using that cash to trade to a sort of a 200 odd guy, and then being able to trade maybe like an Angus Glover. Hopefully he gets to about a 270 this week or something like that, and I can go the 270 all the way up to Kendrick Davis next week, and then Jack White would have to likely go down to sort of a 240 and below play, and try my luck on that one. That's probably where I'm at, just given there's very limited supply on the cheaper guys, and that's where maybe that Max Darling or someone like that comes in, just to be able to facilitate that big dog trade. And then that's probably the other problem as well, is that it's very tough to be able to get those 2 guys in your side and still have the necessary 5 guns in terms of double game players, rather than having a mixture of these 200k odd players like that. And when you stacked up a little bit down the guards with Keandre Cook along with a Davis, Parker Jackson Cartwright, Parker might have to be moved after his doubles come on, just so you can get that better forward in that slot as well. So hoping from the weeks to come that I can get someone that's sort of 240 odd, 230 that could service well enough in that forward slot next to a Montrez, given there's some other guys here don't have the necessary doubles, unless I'm playing like a Lockie Aldrich on his doubles from there. So there's a few things to think about, a few worries whether I just cop it this week, get Davis, don't score as well this week, and then it maybe looks a bit better from the following week. We'll have to do a bit more research into that myself, but I just had a little play around with the Montrez one. Yes, his break even's a lot higher than Kendrick's, but to be able to facilitate getting one of them this week and then not sitting there making it extremely difficult the following week, and getting Foxwell, who's making some cash, he's got a double this week as well. That could be that could have to be the play, and then get a little bit of luck next week and in trying to get some guys that could do a job in that sort of early 200s range, and depending on how good Jack White goes and what plays out with the injuries and stuff over this week, to be able to get another guy on the list that can do a job in that forward slot. So plenty to think about. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We'll see how it goes. But I think we'd leave it at that, guys. There's not too many guys you want. As I said, Jack White, you definitely want this week. Harrison's another guy. Trying to get the 2 Adelaide players. You probably have a Cook in there. You may have a Humphreys. You may have, the Henschel, Olbrich, the Glovers. You may have got a Max Darling or someone cheap already. So you got to maneuver a few things around to get to those guys. And it's going to be fun seeing how every team gets themselves into a position to get those 2 guys and what it leaves them on the other side. Because that Doolittle one really hurts. Him, scoring the 0, losing some cash, not getting the points this week. There's a few teams that actually don't own him at all or manage to bench him. So well done to those guys, and that was good luck on that front. And just getting him down, buying him sort of in the early to mid 300s and losing him at 263 makes it pretty tough. But that is the game. That is luck, and that is SuperCoach. And we'll leave it at that for this one, guys. You kind of got a general idea on what my trades might look like if I don't get around to it. We're doing plenty of prep for the Big Bash. It's kicking off on Sunday, so make sure you check out those Big Bash videos, guys. It's heating up Sunday, 7:30 p.m, I believe, 7 p.m. That first game is going to be on the Perth Scorchers up against the Melbourne Stars. The league code for the overall is in the description of those videos, so go and check that out. Really awesome. You guys supporting me. We're picking up some new subscribers as we're getting closer to the Big Bash and obviously the NRL and not the app, but the actual online portion of the NRL Fantasy and SuperCoach coming out in late this month, which is going to be awesome. Usually before Christmas for the online side, and then the app comes out usually around Australia Day, and we get an influx of people getting started on their team. So thanks so much for being here, guys, and we'll catch you in that next video for the NBL.